Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Sultan Khan, and you're watching the episode 14th of The Health Show. And today we're going to be joined in by Kiran Jangda. She is a fitness coach, she is a CEO, she is a founder and a CEO again, and she's just many things. And we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff with her, and she's going to share a lot of insights on fitness, training, health, wellness, weight loss specifically. And it's going to be a great time. Just hoping for her to join in. Hello, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Got a lot of feedback on yesterday's show, and people really loved it. I personally loved it as well because it was really insightful.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you? Wow. So Mifra says she's been a follower of KJ since she's like a lot of time. You have a lot of
Oh, really?
followers, by the way.
I'm so glad. Not a lot actually, but yeah, I was sweet for her to say. It's Kiran Jangda, by the way. It's not Jangda. It's pronounced Jangra, just for future reference.
All right, all right. So let's begin. First of all,
Yeah.
Kiran, tell me about yourself. Who is KJ? What is KJ? Tell us about every
KJ
glow.
is
Tell us about strong, fit. Tell us about business psychology. Every single thing.
no. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. Kiran Jangda. I am basically a fitness coach in Karachi. My own fitness journey started when I was really young, around 16, 17 years old. That's when I started kind of losing weight and, starting understanding the world of fitness. Then I went for my master's to Dubai for in business psycho. I've always wanted to be a psychologist, but there weren't enough programs here, so I ended up doing my bachelor's in something else. When I finally got the chance to do my master's, we couldn't do like a psychology bachelor's, like master's without having a bachelor's, so I ended up just doing business. And then after that, I went on to work at Ernst& Young for a bit, and that's when I realized that I'm not making enough of a difference. So I need to do that through something else, which was fitness. So that's how I started being in the fitness industry. उसके बाद when I initially started, I was not I was very confused about a lot of things because fitness is so aesthetic based in Pakistan, and even though that's how it started for me as well, and it was a lot of confusion about how people felt and how I felt in regards to that. So the reason why I joined fitness was like became a fitness coach was to make a difference in the lives of people and make them help them do better and just generally feel better about themselves. Because when I started, it was a whole different world, right? I was 16 and I'm what 28 now, so around say 12 years ago. So at that time, if you remember, fitness was just about cutting carbs and not eat फाके करना और सिर्फ like get to a certain size and don't lift. हमारे gym में 4 की ज़्यादा weights भी नहीं होते थे. That was the time where when I started fitness, right? Because लड़कियों का gym में क्या ज़रूरत है and things like that. So that's where my fitness journey started, and I've obviously learned a lot in the process, unlearned a lot of things, learned a lot of new things, all of that. So when I started the platform, uske baad, I started getting a lot of ideas about how to, make it mass for the masses. So that's when I started Everglow with a couple of friends of mine. Everglow is also a retreat, right? It's a retreat-based company where you go to some part of Pakistan with a group of girls right now and then you basically work on your mind and your body because I wanted to implement the psychology of it also. So you focus on stress management, you focus on things like how to cope with stress, how to eat better, how to feel better, along with working out and exploring different parts of Pakistan. And then Strongwear, which is at a halt right now, is basically an athletic wear company for women, especially curvy women, but I'm unable to currently find the fabric that I'm looking for in Pakistan. I want it to be Pakistan based and not import anything. So till I don't find it, I'm not going to start making anything. So that's pretty much it.
Wow,
That
that
is
is just huge.
it's like the
That is,
longest
I mean,
story.
especially the
Okay.
part where you go to a retreat and you find yourself, self-awareness and stress management and change
Yeah.
management and pressure management and all those things, that is like just huge. Why don't you want to do it for boys as well?
No, no, I do want to do it for boys, which is that was my first one. And because I also train women only. So, it was just something that I was more comfortable with, and I didn't want to like jump into something new, all things together, right? So one thing at a time. So inshallah, next one will be both, hopefully, whenever
Great.
the world opens up again.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, soon,
um,
inshallah.
so Sarah says being a psychologist, being a
Physical
physical
therapist.
therapist, I can totally
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah, about health and it's very important because
So the
although
people will
I
create awareness.
it is because I feel like one of the things that we struggle with as coaches is for people to understand that there is a lot more to it than when it comes to fitness. Although I'm not going to lie, my own journey started with the fact that I was chubby and I wanted to fit into a certain size. And I understand that हम सबकी journey उसी तरीके से start होती है. Hi Anam, how are you? Sorry, I just had to say hi. So you हम सबकी journey उसी तरीके से start होती है. As long as we are willing and bodies just kind of do better and not punish them by eating less or doing things that we don't enjoy just because इससे मेरा weight कम हो जाएगा, because that's a short term solution. And I feel like that is what is currently prevalent in our country and all over the world, actually, not just our country. But that's a major struggle, I feel.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, I agree with you there. Tell us about this. What do you think about health and wellness in today's society? What do you think about in Pakistan and the Desi culture that we have?
Okay, so Desi culture and health and wellness. It's kind of a paradox because a lot of us want to be healthy and a lot of us want to be fit, but I feel like हमारी जो definition of health is slightly flawed. And I think that's where what we struggle with, because our definition of health is a girl who is skinny and a boy, तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता as long as he makes money, right? So our definition of health is a little better influencers and generally people doing the work to generally become more aware of whatever is happening in the world. So it is getting there. I'm not going to lie. People are trying to get fitter. People are trying to understand their bodies better. But at the same time, because हमारे पास education इतनी कम है, and because there are no barriers to entry in our industry, anybody has the ability to give advice, right? And you learn, you will hear all sorts of advice. So I feel like even though as a population we're getting there, the people sitting in the industry, I feel we are not aware enough or do not have the capability to make the people understand that you can get to your goals without actually killing yourself, and you can get what you want without or all the time or cutting out all the things like that. So that's also part of the process. I feel like हम यहाँ तक आ गए हैं तो हम और भी आगे चले जाएंगे, because there are a lot of people who are doing the work, who are creating awareness, like Sameet or Bilal and Mehek, and all of these people, they're doing their bit and they're trying to create awareness about how you can make fitness a part of your lifestyle, not just like go to it whenever you feel like आपने 2-3 kg बढ़ा ली and then go back. So it's getting there. It's part of the process. Change doesn't happen
Exactly,
overnight,
and obviously it's gonna take a lot of time, but
Yeah.
the process just started, just like you said.
Yeah.
Having an expert like you on board on the show feels so good, because then you can like really dive specifically into things, and you can like really extract out really valuable
Sure.
stuff for all the
I'll
listeners.
try my best.
Um, so tell me about this. Give us like three key insights on exercise and diet for our listeners.
Okay, so exercise, what people need to know about is it's not restricted to the gym.
Definitely.
For you to just go to the gym and lift weights. Exercise is just movement, which could be you could walk if you like, you could dance if you like, you could go do CrossFit if you like, you can do bodybuilding, do yoga, whatever. It does not matter as long as it's something you enjoy doing and it helps you function better. Okay, it doesn't have to be, a planned workout. कि, oh, आप gym गए, आपने workout करा. It doesn't have to be like that. Yes, a lot of us prefer it that way. I prefer it that way. I feel like it gives me a sense of discipline and I have goals to work towards. But if your goal is just to be fit, it could be by doing anything. It could be cycling, running, swimming, whatever. Whatever you enjoy, whatever form of movement you enjoy is your exercise. And I think that is what all of us kind of need to understand. Although, if you do want to start gymming, I would recommend going to some. You started walking, that's very nice, Anam. So, yeah, and I think that is something that I would say in terms of exercise. And I feel same goes for diet. If you're trying to, if you just want to be healthy, right? So you just focus on the things that are important, like eating your fruits and vegetables, eating your getting your right amount of protein, and having all of your favorite foods in moderation. But when you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you just have to get like a foundation or a base understanding of how calories work, and just work around that, right? Because then because there's so much content and information out there that we kind of confuse ourselves about, oh, if I need to eat less carbs, I need to eat more fat, I need to like eat this many, itne mujhe fruits khane, itna mujhe protein khana, I have to do stress ourselves with, right? We just need to focus on the fact that you need to burn more than you eat if you're trying to lose weight, and that is as simple as that gets, right? It's not more complicated than this, and we complicate it for ourselves, I feel. So that is the base tip that I would like to give everyone. Move just because, move however way you feel, and eat whatever you want, but in moderation. So that's it.
That is absolutely so true. Because I can relate to this when I started my own, fitness transformation because I used to be a very
Yeah.
skinny guy, right? And
Okay.
so there was this overwhelming amounts of information on the internet कि इतने percent protein होने चाहिए आपकी इतने percent carbs होने चाहिए इतने percent fats होने चाहिए download the my fitness pal and अपने calories and वहाँ पे पहुंचे चीजें हमारी होती भी नहीं है foods वाली and then have bars and chocolates and cookies
Yeah.
and protein powders and there's just a lot of stuff to absorb and digest in and so I started experimenting and it
Yeah.
took me a lot of time but the
Yeah.
simple
It takes a lot
as
of
simple
trial
as
and
you
error. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. But the more simpler you go, the better it is because the things are very simple. Just like you said, if you want to
Yeah.
lose weight, see your calories and burn more than you eat. If you want to gain
Yeah.
some weight, then eat more than you work out.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty simple, and that's something which needs to be ingrained first, and then you can work upon it with further
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah. This is the foundation. Once you have a strong foundation, you can do whatever you want, right? Bulletproof coffee burns fat because science. Yes, of course, Amit. That's what it does. Drink your
Samir
coffee
says,
with
"Can I eat
fat.
pizza 3 times a day?"
Yes, you can, Samit. Eat whatever you want. And then you let me eat pizza 3 times a day also. As long as. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. So now I have a very interesting question for you. And that is if you had the time, energy, and money to do anything in this world to keep you healthy, what would you do?
I think gymnastics. I think I would like to go back in time because I think it's a sport when you learn young, when you're younger, and I think it's required because it's one of those things that you're not very efficient at when you get older. So I think gymnastics is what's always fascinated me. I think it's like a pure expression of strength and flexibility. And I feel like if I had all the time and money in the world and a time machine, I would I would do gymnastics because I feel that's something I want to learn and I want to be really, really good at. So that's my go-to, I think.
That is cool. That is cool.
Hire me as a coach and stuff. You're already my coach. What do you want?
Um, all right. So we have the wrong answer, Kiran.
Ignore.
So let's dive into something, something that I believe it's not even the due attention, right? It's mental health. I feel like people still do not talk about it a lot. I feel like it's not taken that seriously, and even if it is, then it's talked about the problem. It's we never focus on the solution itself. What's
Yeah.
your take into mental health?
Okay, so I think that's a very loaded question. What's my take on mental health? That it's very important. Obviously, that goes without saying. But like from in our culture, mental health is not is something that is first not even recognized. Second, I feel like when it is recognized, it's considered as a taboo. And not just mental health, also having bad health in general. So jab hum, when somebody has cancer or somebody is sick, people don't talk about it because people think of it as a sign of weakness, right? So I just feel like mental health is important and it is something that we ignore because we think of it as a sign of weakness. So I feel like you block a lot of your success and you block a lot of your happiness because आपकी जो foundation of your health is not stable. Stable is not the correct word, but it's not what you want it to be, right? तो जब आपकी foundation ही weak होगी तो फिर you can't build on it, you can't be successful, you can't be happy because you're constantly struggling to just get the foundation right. So I feel like a lot of like we should as professionals and like people who have a voice should talk about it more and discuss it more and talk about our own struggles if we have any and just be empathetic towards others. Because even if we don't talk about it, okay, you can tell the other person suffering, right? So rather than pinpointing at their issues, you just be there for them or just empathize with them. I feel. Second, also in fitness, I feel a lot of people come to the gym because they want to escape, right? A lot of people want to go to the gym because they've had a bad day and they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to deal with it, so they just come and like pump out iron. They're like, okay, I feel better now. But again, just like anything else, it's a temporary solution, it's not a cure, right? So it's just one of those things that why don't you want to talk about it? Talk about your problems, okay? If you don't have to like go on social media and talk about them. Go up to a friend, talk about them. If you feel like therapy is not something for you, I mean, ideally go to a therapist. I feel like that is something that's like a profession that's completely ignored in our country. Go see a therapist, okay? There is something called positive psychology also, which I feel that a lot of us don't know about. You don't have to go to a psychologist just because you have some issues going on. You can go to a psychologist to also improve, right? That you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going like for example, somebody got a promotion, right? So you go to a psychologist to go like, these are the stressors that I'm to face with. So give me tools and help me develop tools so that I can face these problems better in the future. It can be like a preemptive measure also. So yeah, I feel mental health again, it's important, and I feel like we should pay attention to it, and we should talk about it more. If you talk about it, it normalizes things, because the constant hiding it, or like I'm fine, or I don't need to go to therapy, or I don't have any issues. We all have issues. We're all broken. Even if Corona. If you weren't, Corona did break you. It broke everybody. I feel at some level, and if you're going to talk about like it's no big deal, if you're going to talk about कि हम सब 6 महीने घर में बैठे थे और हम बिल्कुल सही हैं उसके बाद, that's not okay. Like you can't pretend that you're fine, right? Everyone's going through something or the other. Some people's businesses shut down, some people's relationships collapsed, some people affected their physical and mental health. So these things need to be talked about, and this will affect our mental health for a very long time. And if we don't talk about it, it is going to get worse. So that is
That
my
is
take on.
definitely true. And I feel like, yeah, I mean, people put themselves into denial and then they
Yeah,
just deny everything. Nothing's happening. And they're keeping them almost सब कुछ अंदर भरता रहता है, and when it comes
yeah,
out, you're just destroyed.
exactly. And plus, the
Um,
thing is, it doesn't even come out in the best of ways. It comes out in very bad ways, and you kind of end up hurting the people you love. So that not
exactly.
just like physically, but also like emotionally and mentally, right? Because you project your issues onto them and your insecurities onto them, and that just makes things worse. So
Exactly. And that's, I
yeah.
feel like, the root cause of it. Thank you for putting it out so beautifully. Asma says, last year I started diet and morning walk, started at 5 minutes walk and then gradually to 1 hour. I lost
Mm-hmm.
14 kgs in 3 months. Suddenly
Mm-hmm.
pain started in my knees. Could it be a sports
Okay.
injury?
Okay, Asma, I don't have enough information to understand if it's a sports injury or not. Plus, this is also not my area of expertise. But what I will say is that it could be that you're either not wearing the correct shoes for walking, or the surface that you're walking on and your shoes are not complementing each other, or it could be that the muscles around your knees are not strong enough to support your weight, so your knees are taking all the pressure, and that's what's causing the pain. So I would recommend that you see a professional, maybe go see a physiotherapist or even like a doctor who can tell you exactly what's wrong.
Great. So now I'm going to ask a question which puts a lot of people in existential crisis, and that is, what has been your biggest failure And what did you learn out of it?
You know, when you sent me this message, I had been thinking about it, and then I thought maybe I've been really into my comfort zone कि मुझे पता ही नहीं कि मेरा सबसे बड़ा failure क्या है. But when I was really thinking about it, I remembered when I was so so when I went from when I was doing my masters, so you have to do a thesis, right? So when I gave my first thesis proposal, I failed that, which meant that I had to resit my proposal, right? So now the thing was that then I thought about it, and when I submitted it again, I got an A, and then she said that I could give a class on how to write this proposal. So what I learned from that was first, because I had just gone from my bachelor's to my master's, and I had no break in the middle, and my bachelor's was in advertising, and my master's was in psychology. So there was a big jump, right? So there were a lot of things that I didn't know, and because everybody who I was studying with came from a psychology or like a research background, and because I didn't know a lot of things, I was just doing what they were doing, and that didn't work out well for me because मेरे पास वो background knowledge नहीं थी. You get what I'm saying? So what I realized was that just because something works for somebody else doesn't hope that we get the same result. But our background, their background, our identity, their level of intellect, and our level of intellect is very different, right? And I feel like we just need to accept that first and then make decisions accordingly. So I feel those things are very important. And I feel like what I learned from that failure is to first trust my instinct and not just follow the herd just because it seems like the right thing to do. And second is that just work really hard. That I feel is something that we should remember, to just be true to what you're doing. Don't forget why you're doing what you're doing, and just work really hard at it. That's what I feel is what I learned. I
That
should
is
think of more failures
absolutely
because I'm not the most successful person, but that's the only thing, that's a lesson worthy failure that I could think of. But
okay.
yeah,
But that is absolutely true because if you're putting in hard work and if you're giving all the time, effort, and energy, soon it's gonna happen. Like
yeah,
you need to also have
it
patience,
will.
but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, yes, that's true. And patience, obviously, patience is important.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
I think you're.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the creativity is somewhere. It happens. Tell me about this.
Yeah.
Since you're the expert right now, I want you to give us three exercises that people can incorporate into the daily routine for better health.
Okay. Okay. So again, that is subjective to who they are, what their goals are in life, and what their training age is generally. But if I were to give like a blanket answer, I would just say that you should do compound movements that move all of that incorporate all of your body, that you multiple jointed movements basically. So I would say you should squat, you should do push-ups, and you should probably get some sort of cardiovascular activity. Could be running, could be walking, could be cycling, just basic things that build your strength, that keep your heart healthy, and just generally work your entire body. So again, I wouldn't say कि oh ये तीन movements आपको करना जरूरी है. There is no such thing as best exercise because that varies from person to person. I would just say that focus on three things, that make you mentally stronger, make you physically stronger, and keep your heart healthy. So those are the three things that one should focus on.
Wow, that is actually very true. I mean, if you really see into it, that is like the gist of
Yeah.
everything. All right. Also, give us three weight loss tips.
Three tips would
Yeah.
be
So give
okay.
us like three weight
I'll
loss
give
tips.
tips from my weight loss tips. Okay, weight loss tips would be that I think one that people, okay, no, wait, I'm going to give you three tips. Number one is that you should be more active. Okay, move more. Don't forget that even if you are working out and if you are eating correct, but you're sitting in bed all day, you will not get the results you want. Move more. That is something that everyone should keep in mind. Number two is that you should eat everything that you want, but in moderation. Do not think of food as comfort, but as fuel. Okay. And number three, do some whatever you decide to do, just make sure you're doing it for yourself, number one. Number two, it is something that you see yourself doing for a very, very long time. Okay, do not go into any program or any exercise or any nutrition program thinking कि oh मैं ये 10 दिन करूंगी and then I'm done. That is you setting yourself up for failure. It's going to take a lot of trial and error, but you will eventually find something that you love doing and that you will do for a very, very long time. And I'm sure whatever you train in, you do bodybuilding, is that what you do?
Yeah.
Yes, and you enjoy it, right? So you look forward to going to the gym. But if I tell you, oh, start
Immediately.
running every day, if I tell you screw bodybuilding and just start running a 10K every day, you will stop in like a couple of days. So, anything you decide to
Indeed.
do, just make sure it's something that you really enjoy and it's something that you look forward to. Okay, like I look forward to working out. I look forward to going to the gym. I look forward to doing powerlifting movements. So so that's a very like a highlight of my day. Your workout should be a highlight of your day, not something you're punishing your body with. And I think that is the most important thing that people need to focus on.
Exactly. Kiran, you just touched upon some of the very basic concepts, very basic distinctions that people need to internalize. Having seen, even just the relationship of people with their food, people
Yeah.
take it as, something that is going to bring them comforts and something that is going to take them from one emotional state to another emotional state and
Yeah.
all these sorts of things. But you need to
Yeah.
see it as fuel, as something that drives your body, as
Yeah.
nutrition, and just like you mentioned, and that is one of the most valuable distinctions anybody can.
And I think that's also one of our biggest struggles, okay? Because I feel like as children, when like if you think about your childhood growing up, you just, if you remember, whenever you were sad, your parents took you out for ice cream, remember? And whenever, like, Friday or Saturday, right? So Fridays and Saturdays were basically jab, you would have takeout food or like bahar ka khana. At least for me, every day was like ghar ka khana and like Sunday would be bahar ka khana, right? So you have these things in your head. So that's where the concept of cheat meal comes, and the concept of, oh, if I have dessert, I will feel better. So I think these are something that we've kind of ingrained in our brain since we were children. I think we've had that concept that eating dessert would make me feel better because when I was younger, when I was sad, my parents took me out for ice cream, and I felt better after that. But unfortunately, our childhood problems are not the same as our adult problems. Ice cream can no longer fix our problems, right? So I think we need to develop better coping mechanisms with our issues and not turn to food. And I know it's easier said than done. Okay, sometimes all you want to do is sit and eat ice cream, and that's fine. Okay, it's okay to like do that every now and then, but just thinking that eating food will solve our problems is just setting yourself up for failure because you go into this loop where you think, "Acha, ab, I feel sad, so I'm going to eat," and then you eat, and then you feel guilty about eating so much, and then you go like, oh, ab main 3 ghante workout karungi, and then I'm going to feel better. And then you work out for 3 hours, and you think, oh, I've worked out for 3 hours, so I deserve to eat now. So you go ahead and eat again. So it's like a really vicious cycle that you put yourself into, which is very, very, very counterproductive actually. Which I feel like we
That
need to, yeah,
is that is just so true. I mean, I can personally relate to it. When I started,
same.
it
I've
was
done
the same
it.
thing.
Yeah,
And like that is absolutely. I feel like if people can take one thing from this, whole conversation, this whole show is something just, if they internalize just this one fact, your whole relationship with food, how do you
yeah,
take it? It's gonna change their life, and I mean, changing
yeah.
life. It's life
Yeah,
changing.
it does. It does. Because then you just understand that khana is ultimately just that. It's food. It turns in when you digest it, it turns into energy, and that's it. It won't go to your brain and tell you to feel happy. That's not what's going to happen. Yes, there are things, that chocolate, increases your dopamine levels, which makes you feel happy. I get that, but it's temporary. It's not a quick. It's just a quick fix, basically. It won't solve your problems.
Yeah,
And
it's like
sometimes
a
it's
temporary.
okay to like because you just feel sad. Yeah, if you feel sad, fine, have it. It's okay. It's we all have those days where you just want to do nothing and just eat, and that's fine. Okay, that's also therapeutic in some ways, but it's not something that you need to make a major part of your life.
That is
That is
definitely so
something I
true.
would say.
And I would say one of the key distinctions why it was easy for me to change into a plant-based diet completely was the
I
fact
need to
that
talk to you
my
about that. How did you do that?
yeah, we definitely will. So it was something that I've been researching a lot about plant-based foods and how they're helping. It was an ethical problem as well, having all these animals that are being slaughtered and raped and all these sorts of
Yeah,
atrocities that are being done. and then it was also a personal health opinion, right? And so both of the things worked out for me. And I, went into the research and I started digging up all these researches and I started finding the flaws in our diet industry and what's been fed us throughout these years, throughout the generation of even our parents, right? And then
Yeah.
I find out major things that really opened my eyes. And then I was like, no, I really need to experiment it out. And like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a kind of like
Yeah.
a human guinea pig. So I experiment a lot of things. I read Tim Ferriss and then I experiment a lot
Okay.
of stuff on myself. And that's what I did with this, and it
Yeah.
worked out. I left. First of all, I left chai.
That's really good.
It was the best thing that I have in my life. I had in my life. It was the most, I would say, one of the most difficult
But
decisions to
you
make
could
as well.
switch to like plant-based milk. No?
Yeah, I can. I definitely can. I'm finding that, although it's very expensive right now. So I'm like, moving around it.
Makes
So
sense. That's true.
what I'm doing right now is that I left everything and I immediately started seeing changes. And that was like, I was like blown. My mind was blown. But
That
I'm
is
going to
good.
share a lot of resources with you as well. We're going to have a
Yes,
talk
please.
around sometime around
Definitely.
because it's amazing. I mean, so yeah, one
Yeah,
of
I would
the key
love to.
distinctions why which made me, come to plant-based was the fact that my relationship with food got changed. It wasn't
Right.
something that was, from one state, I'm sad, I have a lot
Yeah.
of tension going on, and I'm gonna eat food, I'm gonna stress eat, and I'm gonna feel better.
Yeah.
That was something that happened to me during my professional exams every single year. Or
Right.
mera, I would have a lot of belly fat after the exams, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, time
Yeah.
to fix it.
Now you have to
But
focus on this.
and that
Yeah.
was that was something that made the shift.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I think वो instant gratification वाली चीज होती है ना, which I think we as millennials are so used to because we just want everything fixed like that because we're so used to like quick services. So we're just like, oh, मुझे instantly चाहिए हो जाए बात की, like that is a future Kiran's problem, so I'm going to deal with that later. So I feel once we kind of delay gratification, we're able to do that. Then I feel like a lot of our problems will be solved. A lot of our, we'll have more patience in life also, and we'll be able to like not uh, turn to like these things to like help us feel better instantly. So yeah, and
Exactly.
not
I
just
feel like
yeah,
the whole problem with Generation Z, and even millennials was instant gratification, right? We
yeah,
go on Instagram,
yeah,
we go on Facebook, so it's not just about fitness,
yeah.
it's about your whole
It's
life.
about everything because you're shopping, like you shop online and you get things to within 24 hours. Your food is instant. Everything is just like we get everything instantly and we're not used to like waiting. Like, our forefathers had to hunt and then cook and then, store food and do all of those things. And, we're just not, we're not built that way. We want everything done instantly. So I feel like that's also like, oh, I feel sad now. I just need to not feel sad. I think we just have to be patient and like learn to feel our feelings and not try to run away from them. I think that will also help our mental health. And we just understand, okay, if I feel like this right now, why do I feel like this right now? What can I do or change in my life to feel better? And then go ahead and do that. Now that is a process. It's not a linear process. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be a lot of setbacks, which is fine because ultimately you'll get to a place where you feel better permanently, right? So, but right now, if you just focus on, oh, I'm just gonna get high and I'll feel better, or if I'm just gonna go eat some chocolate and I'll be fine, and then once the high wears off, we're back to square one. So it doesn't really help anybody.
Exactly, exactly. And I feel like that there's a challenge with adults, that's a challenge with a lot of people, and that's also a challenge
Yeah,
with parenting, right? Because
yeah.
kids these days, I mean, they
On their
don't they
screen.
like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a
because
big
they're
problem.
like, just this is child needs to stay quiet, and that's all they care about. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't say parenting is hard. So I'm not even going to go there because it's not my area of expertise. I don't know. Maybe they've done their best. So yeah,
That is so true. And I feel like if this is something that is addressed for anybody personally, individually, I feel like it's a whole life changer.
it is. It is definitely a life changer. It is.
All right. Kiran, where do you see the future of fitness in Pakistan?
I think if it weren't for COVID, the future was very bright. I feel like we were really exploring different areas of fitness. I think we were really, uh, you know, our expressions of fitness were kind of elaborating into a lot of things. There was bodybuilding, there was CrossFit, we have these cycling groups and we have swimming and all of these things that are becoming like all sorts of sports were starting to get some recognition. And I think after a little while, once the COVID dip we get over, I think the future is pretty bright. But I do feel like as coaches, we need to anybody who decides to coach, I think they should keep in mind and constantly remind themselves of why they're doing this, because it's not just about the money. It's about because somebody is going to trust you with their life, and not as a doctor, but as like somebody who has an influence on how they see themselves, right? And how they feel about themselves. And I feel that is something that a lot of coaches take lightly and just, prescribe things without really thinking. So as the industry grows, which it will, inshallah, I just feel like as coaches, we need to have some sort of accountability to ourselves and to the people we coach, because we can help them, and we should always remember that we are there to help them and not just make money off of them. I think that is something that we need to remember and constantly think of our why. And I feel like we will have, inshallah, a really, really great group of coaches who will do great in the future. So
Great.
yeah.
All right. While we were having these conversations, right, about fitness, this book sort of popped up into my mind, and I wanted to ask you, what is your everyday routine, besides pre-COVID, when you would want to you would go to work out 1 or 2 times a day, you would do other stuff. What was your routine, being
My routine right now, or my routine for pre-COVID?
before pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID. Okay, so my routine was that I usually wake up at like 7:38. Then I have breakfast, and then I have trainings from like say 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and then I come home, have lunch, pray, do my thing, and then I go for my own training, which is between say 3 to 4, 3 to 5, depending on my workout, and then I would have classes again from 6 to 9. So I was basically either training other people or training myself, and then I would like have my meals during the day, and that was pretty much how what my week would look like. But now it's obviously a little different. Now I still wake up early because I'm a morning person, but my classes start a bit later. Everything's at home, so I have more time to like cook and focus on my own habits. So which I think has been great. I've been really focusing on that and reading more, kind of just understanding, studying more actually. So yeah. I think routine
That is
generally is very
really.
important. I think that is something that people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel like
No,
once you set a routine, and because if you have a time in your head, kid, this is the time I need to work out, whatever time that may be, it could be midnight, it could be early morning, middle of the day, whichever it is. If you get into the habit of doing it, it just feels weird when you don't. So building that habit, I think, is very important. And once you do that, it just becomes a whole lot easier, I feel, to stick to it. Even if
exactly.
you
I mean,
don't, yeah,
I feel like, whatever little that I've done, or whatever little that I, feel happy, or, the kind of mental state I am right now,
yeah,
the absolute bedrock of that was consistency and building a true schedule, right? And,
yeah,
being
yeah,
consistent.
yeah. Consistency is the most. Even if you don't have to give your 100% in the gym every single day, you just have to show up, right? And sometimes your body will listen to you, sometimes it won't. Sometimes you've slept not that great, sometimes you've had a stressful day. So your workout won't be that great, which is fine. As long as you show up every day and then you just give it your best. Hi, Maliha, how are you? So yeah, I think consistent. I think as a person, I'm very routine based. I feel like I don't like change a lot, so I like the idea of like knowing this is what I'm going to do in the next hour. So that's important to me. But not everyone's like that, and that's fine because they know कि bit like for people in the day, they should have their non-negotiables कि मुझे ये चार चीजें तो आज करनी है करनी किसी भी हालत में, and then figure out how to do that, and then their negotiables कि okay, this I can kind of do a little later, and like things that I can get away with not doing. If you make a list like that, then you don't need a routine, you just need a plan for the day. And I think that works to stay productive. I mean, if you don't want to, it's fine, you can stay in bed all day, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Thanks, Maria.
All
That's
right.
sweet to say that.
So, my final question is, what is that one thing you want to leave the audience with today?
One thing I want to leave the audience with today is that whatever for yourself in terms of fitness, and it should be based on you and you alone, and not based on what other people are doing or what you see is trending. You need to understand yourself better and create a plan that works for you and is something that you truly, truly enjoy. Otherwise, you're just going to end up, quitting, and then that'll affect your health and yourself up for failure. Important thing is that you understand yourself, and whatever you do in life should be based according to your negotiables and non-negotiables. I think that is what I would love to leave the audience with.
Exactly. Self-awareness above everything. I mean, it's the thing that it's the whole thing. Self-awareness is the whole thing. Thank you so much, Kiran. It has been an absolutely
No
insightful
worries. Thank you so
conversation.
much for having
We've
me.
touched upon.
Thank you
I'm
so much for
honored. We've
having me.
touched upon some various, insights and key points, and I feel like that is very, very valuable for all of us, even myself. I mean, and so thank you so much for being here. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
spending your time.
Thank you
And
for
I feel
having
like
me.
we can do another session, hopefully on every globe and strong
Definitely.
getting very charged. And
Definitely.
so, thank you so
Would
much.
love to.
Thank you
And
so
your
much.
plant-based diet. Yeah. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me.
definitely,
Okay, bye.
definitely, definitely.
Definitely.
Thank you and good luck and goodbye. Allah
No
Hafiz.
problem. Rafiz.